Here are my top 5 ESL writing activities for beginners. Number 1 is fill in the blanks. So this is a very simple activity, just you can have some sentences and students maybe have to fill in 1 or 2 words. It could be choosing a correct vocabulary word, or it can be something like conjugating a verb or coming up with the correct ending for like simple present tense or past simple tense, etc. All right, number 2 is a round robin story. So this is when students kind of generate some ideas and they can each write a sentence in a story. However, for beginners, I like to do this in kind of a more teacher-centered fashion. So I would elicit some ideas and I would write the story on the board. And you can get students to kind of shout out example sentences or some words that they want to choose or the direction that the story should go. All right, the third idea I have is A to Z. So I put students into groups of 2 or 3, and then on a piece of paper they write the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, all the way down to Z. And then I give students a theme. So for example, animals or jobs. Let's go with animals. So they can think of one animal for each letter. So ant, bat, cat, dog, elephant, fish, etc. They don't have to come up with an animal for every single letter, but they try to get as many animals as they can in the allotted time. The winner is the team with the most animals in whatever time you specify. I usually say about 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the level of students. All right, the fourth writing activity for beginners is whiteboard games. So whiteboard games is kind of a big general category. You can do various things depending on the level of the students. So I would basically divide the class into maybe 4 teams, and they stand in front of the whiteboard in line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the first person in line, they all have a whiteboard marker. And then you can ask students to say spell a word. So say yellow, and then they race to spell yellow, and the first person to do that gets a point for their team. Or you can ask a question. So for example, how do you spell 16? And the first person to write 16 can do it. Or you can ask a question like, what day of the week is it? And so the first person to write Monday gets a point for their team. So you can see it really is adaptable depending on the level of students that you have. And the final activity I have for ESL beginners is that sentence correct? So I like to write 2 or 3 sentences on the whiteboard or PowerPoint. And I usually, if I do say 3 sentences, 1 of them is correct and then 2 are incorrect. So students have to decide if the sentence is correct, and if it is, they just leave it. If it's incorrect, they correct the mistakes and write the correct sentence on a piece of paper. Okay, so those are it for my top 5 writing activities for ESL beginners. If you like these ideas, please be sure to check out my book, ESL Writing Games, Activities, and Teaching Tips. I'll put the link up there, and please hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment and tell me your best writing activity for ESL. Okay, until next time, bye everybody.